Good morning everyone, welcome to another vlog here on the World of Coasters. Today you join myself and Louise at the island like no other. We've just come in, it's like Oktoberfest at the moment, which is one of the best events they do here other than Fright Nights. We do love the Oktoberfest, don't we, Lou?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
They do have their Oktoberfest music in here, however out in the entrance plaza, they had it on but being played over with their own music, which, you know, I'm all for the theme park music. We've just nipped into the shop to activate our freestyle mug. We're expecting it to be 29 degrees today. It's going to be beautiful. But yeah, we haven't actually been to this park since probably about April, May time. So we're going to have a look at Project Exodus updates. I know they haven't quite gone vertical yet, but they're nearly there. Our supports are on site. And we're also going to have a look at the Oktoberfest offerings and get our first ride on the Ghost Train, hopefully. Which I did just check the app and it's closed at the moment. Truthful part fashion. But yeah, do love the island like no other, so let's get in there and have a look around. Right, so first up we're going to be heading over to Swarm Island, which is always a good one to get started on. Queues can get quite long in it, but it is quite a high capacity coaster.
Most people run to Thorpe and Colossus for
their
first ride.
I mean, they are the two rides that if you want to get on them early, the queues will be shorter.
Yeah. I'm
not overly fussed on Colossus because of the lovely smoothness of it. Though we'll have a look at the retrack because obviously when we last came here, they were still doing the retrack on the last bit. Obviously that's going to be multi-year, but I just want to see what they've done. Saw I'm not overly fussed on, so it's a bit of controversial.
I feel like
but
I don't have enough clothing on for Saw.
The roughness does cause issues.
The sign.
Yeah, they're always moving that sign around. And this is where containment used to be for Fright Nights. But yeah, just excited to go see around the park. I do love Thorpe Park. We should be here more often. But I think the reason we haven't is we haven't really seen any vertical construction on Exodus yet.
Yeah.
I feel once they start going vertical, we'll be here a lot over the closed season down Monk's Walk.
It's only like an hour from us.
Yeah.
So it's not even that far.
Yeah, so it's going to be up first, the B&M Wing Coaster, the last roller coaster that was built here in 2012, the Swarm, which will soon be succeeded by UK's tallest and fastest coaster. We've also got a after-hour event here, which I'd love to give a go, but that's expensive. I wonder if they do annual pass discount. So that's from, what was it, 7:30 till 11. That'd be cool to get some night rides.
That would be so
You can guarantee, guys, we'll be back here for Fright Nights when they start up this year. So yeah, since our last visit to Thorpe Park, we have actually been on another wing coaster now, Flug der Dämon at Hyde Park, which I actually prefer that to this, but it's been a while. This is a great wing coaster. It's just a very short layout, but it is a really good coaster nonetheless. Got some really good theming. They put some new audio on it recently, in the form of actors and all that. Still haven't opened the shop back up, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, we got new signage and all that, which is great to see. This was all put in, I think, last season now. But it just needed a lick of paint. Well, 20 minutes there for our first ride on the Swarm, which we arrived about 20 minutes after park opening, so the queues do get a bit busier. A bit slow with the batch in there, but not terrible operation. We're going to head over towards Nemesis, the B&M invert from 2003, because last time we came here it was closed and we do love it. It's advertising a 45-minute queue. Swarm, Stealth is advertising a 20-minute queue. The Flying Fish is open. We'll come back to it later. We always do this one. Yeah, but at the moment, quite impressed with the operations. It's not an overly busy day. It is probably a bit busier than normal. It is a Sunday after all.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good to get back to this park. So let's get over to Nemesis, see whether we can do that better than that. Oh, that's not good.
Apparently hope
They have
so.
got a new sign for it though, at long last. That
Oh
was
my
good.
god, they listen to you.
It's not actually faded. Well, there's no chance of getting on Tidal Wave today. The pool is completely drained, which I think
my
actually it
God.
might have been a day where we would have considered this.
At least yeah, because storm surge makes my shoes wet and I hate
Like
that.
this is good in the heat. Like I say, it's forecast 29 degrees today, and I always say I don't like this one, but it is nice in the heat to like cool off.
I tell you what, storm surge is going to have a massive
Yeah, it will. Like Storm Surge obviously is the relocated ride from Florida. When they bought Megaland Florida, they got that from the old park.
Don't worry, Luke, we can always go on the rapids and get drenched.
Oh yeah, the super soaker that is. They've also blocked this off now. Like that's been open for ages. I know you had to crouch under it, but yeah, totally blocked off now. So the bit behind there is a bit pointless now. So every time we come here, I say Angry Birds Land must be on its last legs, but I really think it must be. Like honestly, this area is seeing so much neglect. Like they aren't doing any work to the signage. Even looking at the 4D cinema over here, it's massively falling apart, overgrown. So I do reckon within the next 3 or 4 years we'll see something happen here. Probably not for Exodus next year. That's going to be the highlight, but maybe as a smaller investment, it would be nice to see them do something with this because Angry Birds is so irrelevant now, isn't it?
That's
Though.
a new sign.
So that's for Oktoberfest. Oh no, you're on about the Burger King sign. Yeah, so they've replaced it all with their new logo. Yeah, you've got the B&M invert, the only Nemesis this year. The second best Nemesis. I do love this one, but the original, you know, I just prefer the layout, and I must admit the new retrack looks amazing. Hopefully when we go for Scarefest later this year they'll be running some tests, but I think that's a bit optimistic. Also got Detonator here, the Farbury drop tower, one of the best 100-foot drop towers. In fact, I'd probably say it is the best one in the country, especially now Apocalypse is gone. I would love them to get an Intamin gyro drop. You know, if they were to upgrade that to an Intamin gyro drop, it's the same one as Scream at Hyde Park. 40 odd riders per cycle, so the capacity would literally be tripled. It would just be so much better to have that. I reckon 200 foot tall, one day I'd like to see them do that. So yeah, looking at Nemesis, it looks like they might only have one train operations at the moment, which would explain why they got a 45-minute queue. I haven't actually seen a train go round since we walked round by Amity, so might give this one a miss for now, maybe save it for the end of the day. As you know, I don't really want to queue too long for this one. They've closed it, it's broken down. There we go. Typical Nemesis, it's broken down.
Yeah.
Do you want to head over and do stealth?
Maybe the rapids,
Oh. It's good to see though, look, they've got their smoke effects working overtime along here. I like this like effects going across the path. It's meant to be like concealed into that area, but it's overflowing a bit. So yeah, we've decided up next is going to be Stealth, the 205-foot Intamin accelerator coaster. I've noticed though, it's actually got some rust marks starting to appear on it, which is a bit sad. Give it a repaint. It's incredible to think that actually that next year Thorpe Park are going to have a coaster which has 31 foot on top of that. Like, that's going to be an incredible looking coaster. But it is a bit sad that the top hat coaster here is not going to be the tallest. I've always said one day it would be nice if they could refurbish it. I don't know what they could do if they could make it taller, but I don't know, because I don't think Intamin actually offer the hydraulic launch anymore.
Carson Mendoza.
This is something I've not seen, so here they've actually got like a QR code or a number you can call if you're being harassed by someone, spot queue jumpers. That's pretty good. So see any queue jumpers, report them to their security team. Waited about 15 minutes there for Stealth. I absolutely love that one. It's like the launch is better than the likes of Red Force, so Red Force is a better coaster in my opinion. I think Red Force would be better if it had the camelback at the end. Which do you prefer, Lou?
What's that?
Red Force or Stealth? Red Force is good. Yeah, it is a great coaster still. Like, it is one of the best launches out there. It's just so snappy. Yeah, the quiff struggles with that one. Nemesis is now back open, so we're going to have a look at doing that next. It's on a 25-minute queue, so I'm thinking they maybe got 2 trains on now, which is good. They seem to be whacking them out now from what I can see. So we'll see you over at Nemesis Inferno. Half an hour queue there for Nemesis Inferno. I do love it. We got the back row on that, and it is incredible on the back.
So good.
It's definitely not as intense as.
I'm like, it's so intense.
It is intense, but it's not as intense as the likes of the original Nemesis. Anyway, now we come on for this, we're going to have a look at the Oktoberfest stuff, but they are actually setting up Fright Nights at the moment. Here we got Death Stores, which is the returning free walkthrough area from last year.
Fun.
That was really good. There are 2 new mazes this year. Well, I say 2 new mazes. I'm not sure what Lucifer's Lair is, whether it's a maze or not, or whether it's just a scare zone.
Do you know what I like? Sorry, I was just
Yeah, go on.
Do you know what I like about Fright Night mazes so much? It's like you see like behind the scenes stuff that they never have open. Like,
precisely, and we're like nerding out over it. But yeah, the other new maze, or the main new maze, is Stitches, which is the Howell's Toy Emporium, which I'm very excited to get through. Hopefully there's some references to Exodus, but yeah. We're now coming over towards the Ghost Train now, which is now open. They've just opened the queue. I can see me walking through it. But yeah, they've got some offerings for Oktoberfest. I'm going to say it, Lou, compared to the previous seasons, this is a bit half done, in my opinion. Before they've really pushed it, and now it's kind of like just a few stands, and there's not really. The stage is quite anticlimactic. We have to go around and have a look at it. Just spotted this sign: Project Exodus, expert only, 236 foot. Definitely going to be something about a mountain.
Definitely taller than this.
But yeah, it's the first thing we've seen of it. It's like, I wouldn't mind having that. Thorpe want to donate you when they're done with it. But yeah, definitely a mountain theme on here somewhere, which would make sense being so tall. So yeah, they've got other signs here. Colossus, Tidal Wave, Flying Fish. And yeah, here's the Ghost Train. Obviously, me and Louise haven't been here since it was refurbished. We saw it being refurbished earlier on. So yeah, I'm loving the new theme. Definitely want to give it a go. I'm loving the old car here, the old cable car. And we've got some of the Oktoberfest entertainment along here. Doing some yodeling. Right guys, so the Ghost Train, there's not much to see. It'll be interesting to see whether the soundtrack's changed. Of course, this ride has been open for quite a while now, but me and Louise haven't been down here. I do love the theming they put on this rustic effect of an old railway junction. Does look really good. So we'll give you our thoughts afterwards. Lou, you excited to experience the Ghost Train with no VR?
Yeah.
Here we go. Have a look at these. Old Thorpe Park advertising. So cool.
Neck and back problems. Please do not ride if you suffer from epilepsy, heart complaints, claustrophobia, or to adhere to these rules may result in passengers.
Well, it is about 3 hours later, 2.5 hours to be precise.
It's now raining.
My god. We have had the worst ride experience ever on Ghost Train, I think.
And bearing in mind, we've been on it and the headsets haven't worked and we've had to do it all again. So
yes.
we've had a worse experience than that.
So we waited nearly 50 minutes to get on the ride as advertised, not a problem. When we got in, the ride went away and started to dispatch. The train moves. Just a heads up, spoiler warning here.
Yeah, spoilers.
And then it stopped. The lights came on. It was like, oh god, breakdown. thought, oh, we're going to get an evac or something like that.
Yeah, we really wanted an evac.
Anyway, because we were basically in between show scenes, I guess, the actors on board decided, well, they couldn't do their set, could they? Because it
wouldn't make sense
yeah,
as well.
They didn't have time.
Yeah.
So we basically got to the second station, the subway station, that's still there from Darren Brown's, and then we went out into like the crypt area, which was the old subway tunnels and all that. And the actor came out. He was really apologetic.
He was
actually.
Lovely, and actually he was. Thank God he was fighting our corner.
Yeah, he said.
Managers do not care.
He said, "Oh, well, I'm going to see if we can sort you out with another ride and all that." So everyone in the group voted that we wouldn't have the second scene because otherwise it wouldn't make sense. So we got on the train and went back.
And obviously that is all automated, so we did that bit was spoiled and the last scene was spoiled.
Then when we got off of that, they then had a manager there who was like, okay, you can go again. It was like, but it was really disjointed and it was really weird because the managers didn't actually come on and say sorry. It was the actors apologising on their behalf. It's like, I don't know. And then when we actually got to it, I think it was partially spoiled because of the fact we'd already had the bad run through where we didn't get any acting. But I think I actually preferred Darren Brown's.
We both said it. We were like we didn't like Darren Brown. You know, it had many problems.
Definitely.
But that was just. Oh, it was laughable. It wasn't funny. It just made me laugh because it was just a joke.
The final scene with the actors was just kind of like, oh.
There's like, just spoiler obviously, there's like a nun in the final scene and it's kind of loosely related to the storyline, but it's like,
it was just funny.
It was just a joke, like no one was scared, everyone was just like looking around. There was like a couple of young girls in the street.
It was like, I literally, see, I think it was the same with Darren Brown's Ghost Train. I liked where they were going with the story, but I just didn't feel they implemented it right. And it's the same with it. Yeah, it's like they've got the right story with the ghosts and all that, but it's just not executed well at all. It didn't really make sense because the speakers weren't working very well on the train, so you couldn't hear the actors. But yeah, I'm going to say they need to rip that one out and put a proper dark ride in. Put a normal Ghost Train in. It doesn't have to be trackless, just a Ghost Train. I think it will do much better. Yeah. But yeah, like, I hate to slate Merlin, but it's one of those where it's like, only Merlin, like, obviously people were annoyed, we waited an hour and they basically took us around with no show and then we're like, that's it, and it only was because people piped up that they let us go round again, and then it was like, obviously people wanted fast track because they were waiting, it was like, they let us go on Nemesis, didn't they? And it was kind of like, okay, you 12 go over to the fast track queue and give your name and then you can go on it. And it's kind of like, what happens in the days where they give you a bit of paper or a pass that says fast track?
We had to go straight away. Bearing in mind, we've been near enough 2 hours on the ride waiting, riding the ride.
Definitely.
We all needed to go to the Blue. We all needed, like, some of us needed lunch. It's like we haven't stopped.
That, and only 12 people off of our train used the...
The manager should have gone on the train and just said, look, everyone on this train, come see me, I'll sort you out. And it literally won't cost them anything.
I think it was a little bit of breakdown for the management, which wasn't that great. But anyway, on a brighter note now, we've stopped, we've had some lunch, it's about 3 o'clock. We're going to go over to the Project Exodus site now, have a look at some construction, and then get some more rides on. And it's trying its hardest to rain right now. So we're down by Black Mirror Labyrinth, one of Thorpe Park's other amazing dark rides. You know, massive sarcasm here. This ride actually has no queue, but I'm not even going to bother. It's such a shame because I love Black Mirror, but this is just disappointing. Get rid of the slammer. Again, you can put another ride here. But yeah, like, let's hope Exodus lives up to the hype. So yeah, since we last visited, and this is quite recent, they put these advertising boards up. So you've got a side profile of the ride. Obviously 236 foot is going to be the tallest in the UK, and for scale 98 foot Colossus, so it's going to be over double the height of Colossus. There's loads of QR codes along here which you can scan, which will take you to like some POVs that have been rendered by Mac Rides, the manufacturer, and Louise has found the crack in the fence which we'll have a look through. Right, so looking through the hole in the fence, they haven't actually gone vertical, but they do have supports now back on the island behind Swarm Island. So in front of us here we can see the station footprint. I do think we're very close to seeing supports going in. I reckon definitely before close of the season, before close season we will see it going vertical. But yeah, not a whole lot happening here, and not a whole lot. See, come on, don't focus on the pipe, let's zoom in. So yeah, you can't really see a lot from here. They have got a massive drill out at the moment for the foundations. We just have to keep an eye on this site over the close season, I think. Yeah, arrows pointing round. So this would have been the area where you went into Old Town Canada Creek. Logger's Leap Station would have been over here. And we can actually look now, so they've got some viewing windows. Let's just have a look over here. Thorpe Project Exodus. So there's no entry from this point onwards. This is where you would go down to platform 15. But you can see at the back, it's like mounting up like a load of dirt as like a hillside. There was, from when we were on Nemesis, you could see an old piece of theming from Logger's Leap. It was like a eagle statue right at the back of the site, which obviously I can't film because it's way at the back of the site. You might be able to see it through the windows actually. But yeah, I wonder if that's like a tease or something like that. I said to Louise, I wonder if this is going to be part of the Lost City still, based on the colour schemes and the fonts. But you can see here, they have dug out the lake bed here, and there is rebar for concrete supports. So this rebar here, I imagine, will be buried down into the ground, 4 pylons for supports, and filled with concrete. But yeah, not a whole lot going on at the moment. There are some bars back here, with the old Project Exodus signage back here. The only surviving part of Old Town in here is this building, which I believe is going to become an exit gift shop for the ride. We will certainly be keeping a close eye on this as the close season comes round. Oh my god, it's starting to rain quite hard. So yeah, based on the font of this, like, I don't know if it's just me remembering it wrong, but this reminds me very much of the Lost City with the like text they're using. You know, let me know if you agree, but that's just what my inkling is. Doing like a bit of the retro Mr. Monkey's banana boat. It's the only park ranger still standing here. And then an old school sign for the world's first 10 looping roller coaster, Colossus, in the Lost City, which you don't see much reference to the Lost City now, but this is what I'm saying about the font. Very similar to the Exodus one.
Isn't it?
Yeah, so I said it first.
Maybe they've already got like a copy of
So up next is going to be the Rumba Rapids, formerly Ribena Rumba Rapids. So we only waited 10 minutes there to get on Rumba Rapids. The tamest water ride in the world, I think.
And it's so muggy, it would have been nice to get a bit
The thing
of
is,
spray.
like, we always say that one's really tame, but literally there was no white water there at all, apart from this bit literally is at the station, which what you can see. But mad, like, there's nothing. It's like, again, it's one of those, go this way, it's one of those where it's like, what's the point? You might as well just get rid of it at this point. There's people like literally mocking the ride as they're coming off, like screaming and stuff because there's no rapids. Anyway, we're going to head over towards the Walking Dead ride now, which is the indoor Vekoma coaster they got here. It's alright, it's nothing to like scream and shout about, but yeah, let's get over there. So on our way over to the Walking Dead ride, we're going to have a look in the Thorpe Megastore here in Amity. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, like £1 in Lidl. But yeah, they've got a model of the Exodus, Project Exodus here, which is just a simple little layout, but it kind of shows you the layout of the ride. It is going to look very spectacular when it's all put in. Yeah, really going for the tallest and fastest coaster in the UK. That's the selling point of this one. I must admit, that first drop does look incredible. So does this inversion here, which will be the tallest in the UK. And then I'll be looking forward to this outward bank over here. That'll be something to look out for. Yeah, I wonder what the theme's going to be. Merch-wise, it's the same old, same old. Merlin are very good at their merch, and you know, I always like commend them on it. Merchandise is one thing Merlin always land really well. Even the actual festival merch now, to begin with, it was a bit like tacky, but they've actually put more money into it because they realise that it's going to be a returning thing each year. So we've got socks, we've got pins, little teddy bears, even t-shirts and all that. These are more generic from what we had last season. And then you've got all the rest of the merch. And you've got some Pride merch now. There is also merch for the Ghost Train, which we actually never got to look in the shop because we got escorted out to Nemesis straight away. So we will have a quick look in there later. I do like the pins they've actually got for it. The new logo is very good. Not a fan of the Believer thing. I was like kind of going for it like, are you a believer? Krispy Kreme's going down the street. So up next it's the Walking Dead ride. It's good to see they got some new entry signs, because I always thought that the old ones, which are kind of worn out, you can never really make out, so it's good to see. I think it caused a lot of confusion before, obviously people just going down the shortest looking queue. But yeah, this one's a 5-minute queue, so it's basically a walk on. Unfortunately guys, with this one it is a bag hold at the entrance point, so I can't film at all on this one, not even in the queue. Or when I say the queue, I mean the indoor queue. Just out here, it's pretty bland and boring, to be honest. I do like what they did, but I always say it with this. I personally think it was better than X. Not X No Way Out, but X, it was miles better than, in my opinion. You know, I mean, they added the new theming on and a new story for it. So yeah, we'll see you after our ride on The Walking Dead. Nice and quick on and off Walking Dead. Literally didn't stop walking from the start to the end, did we, Lou? We even got that put straight through at the batching area because they needed the 2. The only thing, oh, I've got a fly flying around the screen. The only thing about that disappointed me is we didn't see the pre-show because they'd overloaded the room, I guess. Which isn't a problem because we've seen it many times, but I just feel if you were experiencing that for the first time, it might be something you might not want to miss. You know, that's just me being picky, I think. Like, again, with the actual ride, it's... Yeah, we got back row on it. The only thing is, with that, where they put all them emergency lights in with the green, like, LEDs, it does, because you can see the whole track layout. It's a bit too bright in there now, but I do think it is a solid ride. You know, they've done well with the re-theme. I know a lot of people love X, but I personally prefer X No Way Out. We're going to be heading over onto Detonator next. Barbara Drop Tower. Louise is trying to bottle her way out of it. I do love a drop tower. It's my favourite thing in a theme park.
Look at the entertainment for
I mean, they don't actually have a lot here. So this is the Oktoberfest area this year. It's always been here, but we both said it's a bit half done this year.
Like normally, the stage is huge. There's so much
here.
seating. There's a miniature stage here normally.
I mean, there's a lot more going on around the park, but it is very like half-baked this year, if you ask me. Even the music's turned down, which is quite sad. I mean, yeah, as it goes, it's a bit barren this year. They do have, obviously, various stalls. But as Louise just said off camera, they're kind of setting up their stalls already, which is a bit early. Like, bearing in mind this only started 3 days ago, Oktoberfest. You would have thought they'd leave it a bit longer so they could have the seating area. But, you know, I suppose the powers that be decided Fright Nights is more of a draw, so they want to set that up. But really, Death Stall's all we've seen at the moment that they've done. So up next is the Farbury Drop Tower Detonator. They've got a little Oktoberfest layover on this, but it isn't as good as previous years in our opinion. In times gone by, it has had the yodeling music, which we love. We heard it at Energylandia last year, but this year it's gone. They've just got a voiceover. We're filming now for you.
5, 4,
oh, there we go.
3, 2, 1.
I mean, it's a bit anticlimactic with the Oktoberfest this year. So here we go, Detonator, technically bombs away Detonator if you want to go with the angry guy's name. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen it in this queue along here. God, it'd be quite bad if you had to queue for all of this. But yeah, we'll see you after our ride.
1. Auf Wiedersehen.
Right, so with Detonator out of the way, just a quick few minute wait on our way. One cycle. I do love it. It is the best drop tower in the country. Like before, Apocalypse would have held that record, but like there's no competition now because I don't think there are any other drop towers in the UK. Obviously you've got the occasional bounce tower like Cock Drop and the Tango Ice Blast at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. But yeah, I really think they should replace it with an instrument gyro drop. It would just be so much better to have one that's a couple of 100 foot tall trying to out-voice the speakers around here. But yeah, the weather's starting to deteriorate now, and it is coming up to 5 o'clock. Park's actually open till 6 o'clock today, but I think we're going to call it.
I don't know if there's anything else you want to do.
I don't know, we've got on all the major coasters we want to do. Obviously, Thorpe and Colossus, not overly keen on because of how rough they are. But yeah, I love coming to Thorpe Park. It's just, they need to give it some TLC in my opinion. The last couple of years it's starting to really fall behind per se. It'll definitely be interesting to see what they do with Exodus next year. But yeah. Right, so we've decided before we go, we're going to go on Rush. The S&S Screaming Swing Rush over here as our last ride before we go. I love this one, it is absolutely brilliant. It was the first high capacity version of this in the world. Beforehand they could only hold around 4 riders per arm. It is brilliant. I'm not a fan of swinging rides, but this is excellent, this one. Also, it looks like they're doing some more Fright Night stuff along here, so have a quick look at this before we go. But yeah, let's get a final ride done on Rush. So Rush has a new sign. It used to look a bit like that, and now it's just blank. But yeah, definitely a new sign there. Right, so only about 10 minutes there for Rush. Bit of a delayed downtime because of someone using their phone on the previous cycle. But before we go, we're having a look at the new scare maze. I'm assuming this is the area of the new scare maze. So this is going to be Stitches, which is going to be based on Howell's Toy Emporium. Just pop me over the fence here. And here's the front for it. So yeah, it's a bit of a shame about this. Hopefully they do something about the tent, maybe put a facade up in front of it. So yeah, it looks like it's going to be a reasonably sized maze, this one. Obviously this whole marquee's being used. In seasons gone past, this has just been a seating area, isn't it? During Oktoberfest last year it was used as a seating area. We can just see through the doors here, they are putting stuff inside. So there's actually a false wall. We can't really see too well. There you go. So these emergency doors, you won't be able to see out when you're in. And then this would be the exit to Morecambe Meadow, assuming they're using the same. But should we have a quick walk down here, see if we can see anything? Yeah, so this would be the exit to Morecambe Meadow. Looks like they've turned this into a tacoteria as well, which is like the taco shop that now Merlin are running around Thorpe Park. Yeah. Oh, they are doing a little bit around here, so they've got a few little seating areas. Looks like they've done some work along here, because actually last time we came along here, they were removing Saw, weren't they? Saw Alive maze.
They weren't removing Saw.
No, Saw Alive. So. Yeah, no, that was just me bad wording. So yeah, they had the Saw Alive maze, the barge has been moved, and the queue's gone. They put new flooring round, and then what we'll do is we'll do a loop round past Colossus and have a look at the retrack area before we go. So it looks like this is something to do with Carnival here. They've taken it all down.
They could have rethemed it for...
I mean, yeah. So this was the Blockbuster. This would have been an area, but yeah, you can actually go right out to the lake edge now and see the old Saw Alive barge. So yeah, site we haven't been able to see in quite a while is the old entrance for the Thorpe Bell, which was the Saw Alive maze. Before then, I think it was a restaurant, but it's now condemned. You can actually see it's lisping quite badly. I wouldn't be surprised if they just sink it soon. Yeah, it's weird to see this all gone, isn't it, though?
Isn't there something over there?
That was the barge. They moved it over to the other side, so it was that there. But yeah, they've cleared this whole area, which is nice to see. Like I've said a few times since we came around here, they really should stick a flat ride here. It would make a great space for a flat ride. I don't know, something that goes over the water, swings out maybe, I don't know. It's just a reasonable sized place, but yeah, it looks like they use this heavily for the carnival area. And the rain has returned. But yeah, they've got misters along here now, so that's another new feature. These misters out in the middle of nowhere. So I think this is the first for a UK theme park misters. Can't say I've seen them in any other theme parks in the UK.
Nice.
And we've got the old Saw ride here, which we're going to give a miss today. It's on a 20-minute queue, but I'm not a fan of this one. It is a bit intense for my liking. And after the heat of today, it may be raining, but it is very humid today. It will be a rough one. Let's go have a look at the retracking Colossus. So yeah, they've only done a little bit so far. It's this inline roll here, you can actually see the joint here. Where am I looking? I'm looking at the wrong support. You can't really see because it's backlit. I'll go around the other side see if we can get a better shot, but the track does look the original colour. I've just been saying this to donkeys now, please paint this roller coaster. It is so badly neglected. So yeah, much better from this angle. You can really see the contrast from the old track to the new track. I was just saying to Lou, how can we pass up on this? A 5-minute queue for Colossus? It's running half empty. But yeah, it looks like they've done just the one inversion here. I do hope they're going to repaint it because it does look spectacular in its old original colours. Here it comes now. Get them lap bar trains on it, please, Full Park. She joined me in the queue.
To get a massage later.
God, she does a hard bargain. Get up close to this ride and you can see how bad the track is on it. I said to Louise, we're trying to get nearer the front because on the back it can be a bit intense. But yeah, it's queuing from here, but they're kind of just they're not using the main part of the queue, they're just sending you straight down, which is a little bit odd to be. There it goes. 2002 Intamin multi-inversion coaster, the world's first 10 looping coaster. Well, we waited 15 minutes for a front row ride on Colossus there, which I'm going to say it was one of the better rides I've had on Colossus. It's still not smooth by no means.
It's just not for me.
It is like it's the restraints. It's a very restricting car. Like if they change the trains on that, it could be so much better.
I don't mind the inversions, but the 10 is just a bit too much for me.
I mean,
that's just me.
You don't what? So you don't like Smiler?
Yeah, but that one I feel like you've got
like
recovery time, whereas that I don't feel like you've got
the problem is the car. I think is very like even at the front row, there's like very restricting. Like the restraints just you can see from this picture here. Actually, they've got like a photo up. They're all like really bulky down the bottom here. Just change them for the lap bar trains, and they'll be much better. As for the re-track, I didn't really notice it much. It's like literally one of the inversions in the inline twist, which is relatively straight. The bits that really need doing, in my opinion, are the corkscrews and the cobra roll. That really needs doing. Vertical loops fine and the inline twists are fine. It's just those few inversions in the middle. Anyway, that's it for now. We're going to be going. It's actually 5:41 now, so we've stayed right near to close time, which is funny because we did say we were going to be going. One other thing that I just wanted to point out, they're not playing the IMAscore version of the soundtrack anymore here. They're playing the original 2002 mix of Colossus's soundtrack, which is pretty cool. Is that an inkling to maybe Exodus being in the Lost City area? I don't know. I'm going to call it. I think Exodus is going to be in the Lost City. But yeah, we're going to head up to the dome. You just filled up the flask, and then we'll give you our thoughts as we leave the park. So back to the dome. So there we go. A day at Thorpe Park done. I love Thorpe Park. It's an awesome park. When it comes to operations, not the best. Like we had a few experiences today where the experience wasn't the best. Like I say, not a massive issue.
Over the day, but it's not like we paid £50.
Definitely, that is the perk of having the annual passes. It will definitely be interesting to come back here next year and see this skyline changed with Exodus sitting just over behind Saw there. But yeah, we'll just have to come back in the off season to watch that being constructed. We'll almost certainly be back later this year for Fright Nights. Who said Scarefest then? That's what it tells. Anyway guys, that's it for the vlog now. Let's see if I get a copyright strike on this. There's so much copyright music here. Don't forget to leave a like, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you in our next vlog, which I don't know where it's going to be, but it's definitely going to be a UK part, let's say that for sure, because I've run out of annual leave now. So until then, see you later, bye.